So we're gonna get ready with Jimmy and Andrea in the Christ the King Chapel.
Thanks so much, Dana, for that great overview. As you mentioned, Jimmy and I are here and we are ready to go ahead and get tonight's virtual tour started. Jimmy?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the virtual tour event. My name is Jimmy Cantor. I am a junior biology major from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'll be one of your ambassadors tonight for the tour. So our first space we're seeing right now is Christ the King Chapel. The chapel was built in 1933. We are a Catholic institution, however, you don't need to be Catholic to attend here. We do offer Mass every day at 8 a.m. and then on Sundays at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Part of our REACH curriculum, which is kind of like our core curriculum here, the R stands for religious studies. So you'll be able to take a class here in religious studies, Catholic studies, or philosophy, and you can choose kind of out of what category and what classes you'd like to take there. Behind me, you can see the mural. So I'll point out the two sisters in the middle represent the Sisters of Mercy, who founded Mercyhurst in 1926. And the little girl in between them represents the women and children that they cared for the most. And then kind of all the way to the right panel over here, we have a painting of what the chapel was supposed to look like. It was actually supposed to be a lot taller, but due to lack of funds, they actually couldn't make it that tall, and it actually would have sank into the ground if that were the case. The next space we're headed into is called the Queen's Chapel. It's directly adjacent from Christ the King Chapel. The Sisters of Mercy wanted to really make sure that this was an equally beautiful space. So as you can see here, we have the amber candlesticks, the Italian marble, and then the gold plating on the wall here. That's really beautiful. And then walking through this way, you can see behind me here, we have this beautiful stained glass window. And the artist who actually created this, instead of signing his name as artists do with some of their works, he actually put a piece of himself in here, which I'll kind of point out here with his side profile right there. Another thing I'll talk about in this space is you can kind of see over here, and then on the other side of me, we have these graves, you could call them. So the chapel's founders, James and Orva, and his two sisters, Reese and Xavier, were initially supposed to be buried here. However, James got caught up in the teapot dough scandal and fled to France. So there is no one in here. They are fully functional though. We actually opened them up, I think like 10 years ago, just to make sure. But no, there is no one in there, and they're fully functional. I think it's a really cool thing to point out.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that overview, Jimmy. I'm going to go now ahead and introduce Rebecca and Maddie, and they'll showcase our next space on campus. Rebecca and Maddie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maddie Borse. I am a senior here at Mercyhurst, studying double major of intelligence studies and international relations. And I also have a minor in psychology of crime and justice. And I'm from Philadelphia. So there's a little introduction about me. I am here in the Sky Bridge, which connects our Center for Academic Engagement and the library. It's also a popular study spot for some of our students and has a really nice view of the sunset, which is really nice to watch while you're studying. And then behind me over here, you can see are some of our upperclassmen housing options. So there are 3 freshman residence halls located on the other side of campus. And then we have a large sophomore residence hall, and then a bunch of apartment complexes and townhouses for some of our other upperclassmen. And then we're gonna head over into the Center for Academic Engagement. This building here houses our intelligence studies program, as well as our hospitality management program. I don't think there's anybody in here, so you can hear me better. Behind me over here, we have some of our professors' offices. So our professors are required to have 6 open door hours per week, which is any time when they're in their office for students to be able to go meet with them. So for example, my freshman year, one of my classes, each of our projects added up to a final one. So I got my grade back on the first one and I was like, not the grade I wanted. So I actually met with my professor during her open office hours after each of those projects and ended up getting an A on the final project. So their professors here are super nice and accommodating. And if those hours don't work for you, you can always just set up an appointment. They're always here to help. And then we're gonna head downstairs, but it gets really echoey in the stairwells, so I probably won't say too much. So this is the second floor of the Center for Academic Engagement, and it has a bunch of our classrooms. So as you can see over here, this is one of our lab classrooms. Those little rectangles on the desks are actually desktop computers that you push a button and they like rise up out of the desk, which is kind of cool. And then the walls in these are also whiteboard walls. So occasionally, while this is where intelligence students oftentimes have class, since there's such a wide space of whiteboard walls, we'll get some chemistry students or biology students or anybody who needs a big space to write on, will come in here and use that. And then behind me over here, since I study intelligence, I know a little bit about some of these projects. And this is one of the biggest key factors for me when I was looking at Mercyhurst, was that you do get to start your major classes first semester freshman year when you're declared. So you get to take intro to whatever major you're interested in first semester as soon as you get here. So like this big map is actually something we do freshman year as intelligence studies students. And that kind of transfers over to any of the majors, is that you get to start doing stuff that actually matters that you put on your resume as soon as you get to college, instead of taking a couple of years taking just your regular gen eds, which was a key factor in my decision. This is another one of the classrooms. Students come here oftentimes to work. And then over here, you're gonna have a great view of our 24/7 lounge. So this is an area that at any time you can come study, which is really nice if you per se have a paper you forgot about and your roommate is sleeping and you don't want to bother them. You can always come here because the library does have different hours. So this isn't always an option for students to come work. There is also a cafe diem as part of this, which is totally run by our hospitality management majors. So they do the scheduling, stocking of goods, everything like that all on their own, which is super nice because then they get to, again, put on their resume that they worked and basically ran a cafe on their own before they've even graduated. For anybody else, like intelligence studies kids or anybody coming to use the lounge, it's just a nice place to get a quesadilla or a panini. So that's one of the good things about this area.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. We'll head back over to Jimmy and Andrea.
Thanks again, Maddie. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hi, everyone. So right now we're in our Hamburglar Library on the first floor, as you can see here, with this big Mercyhurst seal. This space was actually just recently renovated, and you can kind of see behind me all of these tables where you can spread out and do your work. It's a really big space here. A couple things I'll highlight about this space is over here we have our writing and tutoring center. So our writing center would be utilized if you're ever writing a paper for a class and you want to submit it to kind of get it grammar checked. The writing center mainly has English majors that they can do that for you. We also have the tutoring center over there. So if you're ever struggling with a class, tutors are recommended by the professor and have to have a B or higher in the course. So if you're ever struggling, you can definitely go to them. And those are both paid positions for students as well. Over here, we have our Itd Help Desk. So they're good with anything with hooking up to Wi-Fi, printing, setting up your TV, anything like that. And I know there's just someone down here till 8 p.m. during the weekday. So if you ever have a problem kind of after the normal business hours, someone will be here to assist you with that. And then behind me, you can kind of see these collaboration rooms. So what I really like about these are you can connect your computer to the TVs in there if you're working on a group project with students. And they have whiteboard paint on the walls with some whiteboards in there, so you can write on them without getting in too much trouble. And we will see more of those on the second floor of the library, which is where we're headed next.
Jimmy, in the library, do you have a favorite study space?
Yeah, so in the library, we'll see it actually after the second floor. It's the wonderful great room, which we'll take a look at later. I really like that space because the tables are really big. And it's really beautiful in there and it has awesome architecture. So this brings us to the second floor of our library. As you can see, this is where the majority of our books start to be seen here. Over here to my left, there's some more collaboration rooms and you can sign those out too. So if you're ever worried about working on a group project and you really want one of these rooms, you can come to the library and sign them out in advance. And then we're going to go through this door and head up to our Captain Walker reading room. Before I head into this space, this is considered the quietest room on campus. So if you're the type of person that needs a completely silent space to study, this is definitely the room for you. If there's students in there, I won't do too much talking, but if there isn't, I'll kind of point out up on the wall when we walk in. There's some of our previous presidents that I'll talk a little bit more about if there's no one in there. So that was just a quick look at our Catherine Walker reading room. It's often called our Harry Potter room on campus because it resembles that a little bit. So our next space we'll see is Weber Hall Great Room, like I mentioned earlier. This is one of my favorite places to study. So as we head in here, you can see that they have really big tables that you can spread out and do your work. So if you're ever working on a project or just like multiple assignments, it's really useful for that. We also have some of our books up here. And then what's really unique about this space is it actually used to be the old dance studio. So that's kind of why the architecture is like that. And then behind me here, you can see this giant painting that was actually in the chapel before the mural was painted. And a fun fact about it is they actually had to cut it in half to get it through the doors and have them stitch it back together, which I think is really cool. And then walking through this way, over here to my left, we have some computers for students to use. So by no means, you don't need your own like laptop here. We have computers for students to use at all hours of the day if you didn't have one of your own. And then walking through this way, I'll talk about printing really quick. So printing here at Mercyhurst is really simple. You would just bring your ID, scan it up here. Your information would pop up here and you would just tell it to print. You'll have $12.50 on your ID card each semester. That's 5 cents to print a page. So you'll have more than enough money. I've never actually ran out. And a cool thing too is these are actually located in every residence hall. So you wouldn't have to walk all the way to the library to come print something, which is really convenient.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that overview of the Hamburglar Library. Jimmy, back to Maddie and Rebecca.
Hello, so I'm here in our cyber education. This is where our data science and cybersecurity classes mostly take place. There's actually a class going on behind me. So this center was actually help funded by Federal Resources Corporation, which you can see over here. And students actually do work for them. So they're an Erie-based company, and we have a lab on the other side of the hallway that is actually restricted and on an entirely different network than the rest of Mercyhurst, and students there do work cyber stuff that I don't really know too much about, but they do a bunch of cool stuff in there, which is really exciting. And then, as you can see, this place kind of looks like a spaceship, but it's not, it's just pretty cool. It's kind of based off of the FBI a little bit with clocks. And then also, sorry, give you guys a second. And then also over here, this lab area is going to be the center for our CRAP program, which is our Center for Information Research and Training, who works and finds contracts for students to work on for the government or different companies all around the US, which is super nice. And we're one of the only schools, I think we might be the only school that has a program like this, where there is people looking for these contracts that students actually get to do work on before they graduate as students, which is honestly a really good bump when you're applying to different jobs after graduation. Just to give you a little sense of where we are, up there behind us is the Sky Bridge where we first were. And then we're going to head over this way towards Old Main. So there, in a minute, you'll be able to see the gates, which is what basically you're going to drive through when you get here. And there's actually a funny story about the gates. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie or the musical Ragtime, but the first clip in Ragtime is basically an overview of this story that I'm going to tell you. So there was this actress, Evelyn Nesbit, and she was married to this playboy, Harry Thaw. And, gotta watch where I'm going. And so she ends up having an affair with this older architect, Stanford White. One evening, they all happened to be dining on a rooftop in New York City, which they weren't dining together, but they all happened to be there, and Harry Thaw kills Stanford White. So he's a rich playboy, so he pleads insanity and gets off on it, but his estate is liquidated. So those gates that you see there were part of his estate, which went up for auction. So the architect for Mercyhurst calls up Mother Borgia Egan and was like, hey, I know you've been looking for gates. I found the perfect ones. You have to go to this auction. So she went to the auction and bought the gates for $50. They're now worth thousands, so she got quite the steal.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Maddie. We're going to head back over to Jimmy and Andrea.
Hi, everyone. So right now we're in Grotto Commons, which is our main dining hall here on campus. Over here, you see the salad bar, which is one of my favorite spots here. It's home to 75 fresh options daily, and they kind of have more than just salad. They have like macaroni salad, a ton of different like veggie salads and stuff over here, as you can see, as well as some like fruit and yogurt options over here. Over here, kind of behind me to the right, we have our grill. So this is where you'll find more of your traditional American type style food. So your hamburgers, hot dogs, grilled cheese. On a lucky day, you'll have your French fries over here, and you'll also have made-to-order breakfast sandwiches as well in this area. And then walking down this ramp, you can kind of see over here we have our soup station, which has 4 different options for lunch and dinner. They also have breakfast options as well. And then right next to that, we have the Deli, which is kind of like our on-campus Subway. They make made-to-order wraps, sandwiches, panini presses, stuff like that. Down this way to my left over here, we have the daily dish. This is where you'll kind of find your home cooked meal food. They have something different every day for lunch and dinner. And then over here behind the daily dish, we have our clean plate. Our clean plate makes food for free from the 8 major allergens. They also make vegetarian and vegan options. My one friend has celiac disease, so she can't eat gluten, so all of her meals are prepared there. And everything from the clean plate is prepared on a completely separate and different kitchen. They use totally separate utensils, so you would never have to worry about cross-contamination or anything like that. Kind of behind me back here, we have our Starbucks coffee station. So if you're a coffee drinker, they have hot, ice, and tea over there. Coffee for students to enjoy as well. And then as we walk through this way over here, to my left, we have our oven. So this is where you'll find made-to-order pizzas every day, a ton of different kinds. They have pastas as well, breadsticks, and then over here we have our Bravo. So this is where you'll find more cultural type food. So if you ever kind of want to eat a different culture food, they make a ton of stuff like that here. They also make smoothies and milkshakes here as well. And then over here behind me, we have our breakfast snacks. So this is where you'll find all of your cereals. You can make waffles. They also have a bagel station as well for students to use. And then over here, kind of behind me, where we're headed is our dessert station. Another one of my favorites here at Grotto. They have a ton of different desserts. One of my favorites is the chocolate chip cookies are awesome here. And then the hours of operation here. So they're open every day from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. So if you're ever hungry late at night, you wouldn't have to worry about eating. They're open super late here. And then as a freshman, you'll have an unlimited meal plan. So you can come here and get a cup of coffee to a whole pizza, and it wouldn't matter, which is really convenient for our students.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jimmy. It sounds like no one should ever go hungry at Mercyhurst. I'll toss it back over to Rebecca and Maddie.
I'm here outside of Macaulay Hall, which is our all-male freshman residence hall, and it's actually right outside of where Jimmy and Andrea were. You can see them walking out the doors, actually, but we're gonna head inside and check it out. All of our residence halls on building are swiped to enter, and you'll have access to the one that you live in. So this is the common area. There are 24, so this is a 24/7 area. There are ping pong tables, TVs, places to sit in all of the freshman residence halls. And then there is also someone that sits at the desk during normal work hours. Visiting hours in the freshman residence halls are from 10 a.m. till midnight on weekdays, and then 10 a.m. till 2 a.m. on weekends. And then we're gonna go look at a room. So washing and drying is part of your room and board payment, so you don't have to worry about carrying around quarters or anything or paying for that. They're actually provided for you on all of the floors, and then you can just use that. I don't know where the lights are. But so then each of the floors, there's 2 halls, and then there's a common space on each floor for the boys to hang out. And a lot of times RAs will hold events. So there's 2 RAs per floor, 1 per wing as well. And they'll hold events, especially as freshmen coming. It can be nerve-wracking to meet all the people you live with and make some friends. So that's a great way to do that. And then we're gonna hop in a room. Love this. So this is what one of the rooms looks like. You get 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 chairs, 2 dressers. Yeah. And the shelves in here do come with it. You can bunk the beds or unbunk the beds, whatever you prefer. And then there is floor to ceiling closet space and storage. So there's plenty of room for that stuff. And one of the nice things about these rooms is that you do have a sink in your room. So while the bathrooms are communal style, you can get ready in the morning without worrying about going all the way down the hall. You do have a sink right in your room.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. We'll head back over to Jimmy and Andrea.
Hi, everyone. So walking down this way, you can see this building over here to my right. That's actually Preston Hall. Preston Hall is home to our Walker School of Business. So there's a lot of classes and professors' offices up there, as well as on the lower level of Preston, we have our mail room. So if you ever order a package from home or books, or mom and dad send you anything, you would definitely go down there to pick it up. So right here, kind of behind me where I'm at right now, is Trinity Green. This is kind of like our hub or our center of campus. As you can see, they have a tent set up here for students to eat outside if they would like to do that when the weather is still nice. As we walk through this way, there's a lot of traditions that we have here at Mercyhurst. One of which you can see behind me is our Sister Damien Spirit Bell. So Sister Damien was a Sister of Mercy here at Mercyhurst. She was an avid Laker fan. She loved the sport, specifically hockey. She'd be seen smacking her can against the glass and sprinkling holy water on the ice to bless her Lakers before they took on the other team. She sadly passed away in 2004, so the class of 2005 donated the Spirit Bell in her honor. It's rung to signify important occasions on campus, especially when we win our sporting events, both home and away, kind of spreading Laker pride all throughout campus. Another one of my favorite Mercyhurst traditions is Hearst Day. So if you guys don't know what Hearst Day is, it's a day where kind of a board and a committee gets to plan it. No one really knows about it. You'll know it's Hearst Day when bagpipes go rolling through your hallway at 8 a.m., waking you up. And the day starts off with a scavenger hunt at 10 a.m. So you can kind of go back to sleep after that happens if you want to. And so they'll have you submit your teams. There'll be a costume contest and everything. You'll do a scavenger hunt. They offer awesome prizes. They've had iPads, AirPods, speakers, stuff like that. And then the winner of the scavenger hunt gets a trophy with their team name engraved on it, and then goes and sits down into the roost, which is in the student union, which will be our next space that we show. It's a really fun day. Professors bring their families. There's inflatables, bounce houses, a ton of activities to do. All the food is catered by Parkhurst, our dining service here. And it's just a really fun day to kind of relax and unwind before classes get kind of going in the fall. And then the day concludes with a steak dinner in either of our dining halls, so Grotto Commons or Ryan Hall, that students will be able to eat at, and it's awesome. And I look forward to the next one.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jimmy. I really appreciate it. And I'll just give everyone one additional view of what Trinity Green looks like from this perspective as well, too. That building in the far background behind those trees is where we're going to go ahead and meet Maddie and Rebecca next. Maddie and Rebecca.
So this is the great room in our student union. This is a place where a lot of clubs will hold events in here. We do have a multicultural activities council and a student activities council, which hosts weekend events for students every Friday and Saturday night. So there's always something going on campus, and it's hard to find yourself bored. And then behind me, I also like to talk about here is some of our study abroad options. So these slides represent places where students have either studied or where we have students who have studied at Mercyhurst from. Some of the nice options that we have for study abroad are faculty-led study abroad trips. So if you don't want to study abroad for an entire semester, you can do one of these FSATs, which you take the class on campus, and then either over winter break or summer break, you travel for like 2 or 3 weeks about the country that you learned about in that class, which is a really nice option, especially for some of our athletes. We also offer we have a sister campus in Ireland. So one of the trips we offer is a 2-month mini trip to Ireland where your professors actually travel with you, which is really exciting as another option, especially because we have a lot of Irish heritage on campus. Down here is the Laker Inn, and I want to point out the roofs that you can see over there. That is a on-campus pub, and it's basically like a restaurant that you can go to. So while we do have plenty of great dining options, this is another option that you can go to. They have a really big pretzel that's like this big with 3 different dips. Really good. My roommates and I will always go there when we want to celebrate something. We also have the Roost Express. So while the Roost does dinner, the Roost Express does breakfast and lunch, and you order on an app and you can come pick it up whenever you want. Over here is our community engagement office. So the Sisters of Mercy take a 4th vow of service when they pledge to become sisters. So service is something we hold to a high regard on campus. So a lot of clubs and organizations or classes even may have service requirements as part of that. We also do a BTG, which is our Beyond the Gates class, which is a 1-credit course that you go out into the Erie community and serve. So our community engagement office is where you would come to do any service. And then right next door is our campus ministry. So it is non-denominational, so any faith background can come here. They offer Tuesday night Catholic devotions, Wednesday night fellowship, and Thursday night Bible studies for athletes and non-athletes. I went a lot my freshman year. It was a nice way to meet people and attend a lot of events. They also put on events for any student, whether or not you're part of campus ministry. Sorry, guys. So they also put on events for every student. So out here in Trinity Green around midterm times, they host dog days. So if you're missing your pup from home, you can come out here and they invite a lot of people from the Erie community or anybody that has dogs to come out, and it's about an hour that you just get to play with and pet puppies, which is really exciting.
Awesome. And down this direction, we've got our Student Athletic Center, and that's where we're going to meet Jimmy and Andrea.
Hi, everyone. So right now we're in our athletic center, like Rebecca said. This actually was just recently renovated, so this is completely new this year. You may be wondering where the basketball hoops are, which I'll point those out to you over here. So they're actually right here. It's kind of like an NBA style, so we can actually move them and take them down. Also with this renovation, we can, if students don't want to like play full court, we also have the basketball hoops on either side so they can kind of just play half court. That's an option for them as well. Kind of below those side basketball hoops, we have a ton of different images of the teams that we play in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. So those are all up there. And then one event that is housed here in the spring, which is one of our more popular events here on campus, is our Spring Fest. So Spring Fest is in the spring, obviously, and it's our Mercyhurst student government will bring an artist in. It's kind of unknown. They kind of don't announce it until a week before. And it's a really fun event. They'll come into the gym and perform and kind of have like a mini concert here, which is really enjoyable for all the students here. And then kind of heading out this door, we're gonna go take a look at our fitness center. And another thing I'll mention about athletics is we are a Division II school. However, we do have Division I men's and women's ice hockey, as well as club sports as well. And we're gonna go see our fitness center. One thing I'll say about that, you wouldn't ever have to worry about athletes in the fitness center. They have their own separate strength and conditioning center where they practice. This fitness center that we're about to go see is, you know, for all students, but mainly, like obviously the athletes have their own space, so you wouldn't have to worry about anything like that.
He's trying to sing, you sang.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're good.
So behind me here, you can see this is what our fitness center looks like. As you can see, there's a ton of different equipment in there. A ton of treadmills, ellipticals, weight machines. So you would never have to worry about not having a spot here. There's a ton of stuff here. And as you can see, there's not a ton of students here at this time of night tonight. Also in the back to the right, we have some classrooms where there could be Zumba or Pilates classes that students can take. And then kind of down this hallway over there is another auxiliary gym. So the athletic center that we were just in, students are allowed to use that space as long as a team is not playing or practicing there. However, if they are, you can utilize the auxiliary gym back here, and they have balls for students to use just to kind of have fun out there as well.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. I'm sure everybody's still enjoying those chocolate chip cookies in the dining hall that you mentioned earlier. I typically like to also let students on our call know that roughly 1 in 4 students at Mercyhurst University is a student athlete. So we are very student athlete centered as well too. We love coming to support students at the games. You'll oftentimes also see our faculty there as well. So again, we look forward to showcasing this space to you in person at some point. Back to Maddie and Rebecca.
So this is outside of Baldwin Hall, which is our all-female freshman residence hall. It's located right across from Munson Plaza, which is a great place to come hang out with your friends, bring blankets for studying and all that kind of stuff. And also behind me is Saxton Stadium, which has a lot of our athletic fields. But we are going to go check inside and look at a room. So this is, again, the 24/7 area in the freshman residence halls, ping pong table, TV, a place where you can come hang out with your friends at any time of day. Again, there's a desk that someone sits at during normal work hours, and visiting hours are the same in here as the other ones, so 10 to 12 and then 10 to 2 a.m. Baldwin is known for its community, so there are areas like this where RAs will put on events. And one thing that we always like to point out is that students in here, every year this gets painted over, and one of the bonding events that a lot of the girls will do is come and everyone gets a brick and then they get to paint on that brick anything they want, and it looks into a really cute mural at the end of the day. We do also provide microwaves and a toaster in here, so you're not allowed to have a microwave in your room, but we actually provide it for you right down the hall, so it's one less thing you have to buy, which is really nice. There is also a laundry room per floor, 3 washers, 3 dryers. Then we'll look at the room. So this is what one of the rooms looks like. It is suite style. So it's you and your roommate. You share a bathroom with the 2 girls that live next to you. And then again, you get 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers, 2 chairs. You can decorate however you want, which is really nice. And then there again, floor to ceiling, there's tons of storage in here. This thing is huge. And this is where you can do a lot of your storage.
Maddie, I know sometimes students are worried about, who their roommate's going to be, how that matching is going to happen. Can you talk a little bit about that? Did you know your roommate coming to campus?
I did, but I didn't know her before that. So one of the most popular ways to do it is you join the Facebook group for your class, which will be on Facebook, and then you request to join the group. And a lot of times students will post a little bio about themselves, and then you can read that bio and add people on Instagram or Snapchat and start talking to them, see if you would match as roommates. So that's how I met my roommate. And then once we decided we wanted to live together, we basically, when you apply for roommates or for your room application, you write down their name and they write down your name. And as long as they match, you'll be paired together. 60% of college students do go random. So that's another option. You fill out a little questionnaire when you're applying for housing. And it'll ask you like if you're a night owl, stay up late, like all that kind of stuff. And they'll match people based on that. And there have been 2 of my really good friends who are random roommates, and they're literally best friends. They've lived together all 4 years. So it's also a great option.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. We'll head back over to Andrea and Jimmy.
Hi, everyone. So just to kind of give you a perspective of where we are on campus, right in front of me over here, we have Old Main. That's kind of where we started in the chapel over there. And then over here to my left, we have Trinity Green, which is where I just was talking about all of Mercyhurst traditions and the Sister Damien Spirit Bell. And then the next building we're going to go ahead and see is this building behind me, the Preston Hall. This building kind of meets the natural sciences and our arts, which we'll see as we head in here. So in Zern Hall, like I mentioned earlier, our biology department right here. So that's where I spend most of my time. Most of your ology courses are here. We have like geology, forensic anthropology downstairs, chemistry, physics, and some math classes up on the upper levels here. Also down this hallway, we have our dance studio. Mercyhurst is pretty well known for its dance program. And we also have some of our art up here down this hallway as well as our ceramic studio down there also. We also have in this building our lecture halls capable of holding up to 100 students. you'll never have a class size that big. We do have a 14:1 student faculty ratio here, so most of your classes will be pretty small. These rooms are just kind of used for club meetings. If the Performing Arts Center is being taken, or any kind of meeting like that, those rooms will be used for. And then we will head down this way, and this hallway is going to connect us from our Zern Hall to our Performing Arts Center. I'll mention too, as part of the REACH curriculum, all students your major will be required to take a science for the lab. And there's a ton of different options out there for students to read. Mercyhurst really likes to showcase student art. So you'll kind of see that everywhere here on campus. And something I really like about taking science classes with the labs is freshman year I was in an environmental science problem solving class, and a lot of that class we actually went out and did labs outdoors, which is really fun to kind of still learn but bring the classroom setting kind of outside. And one of my favorite parts about Mercyhurst is an example right here where you can go from building to building without having to go outside. This is especially important when it's super cold out, which will unfortunately start to happen soon. So definitely take advantage of that here. So that brings us to our Performing Arts Center. Over here to my left, we have our Cummings Art Gallery. So this is where student and faculty art would be showcased. We also have over here our box office. So, and here's a booklet of all of the events that are happening. We have a ton of different people that come in and either do performances or talks. I know we've had Glenn Close from 101 Dalmatians come. We've had Kristen Chenoweth on Broadway come. Also, a lot of our welcoming activities take place in the Performing Arts Center. And it's actually open today. So we'll actually go down and take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, during my freshman welcome week, they have a hypnotic intoxication where they bring a hypnotist in, and it's a really great time. There's also a lot of the welcome week events in there as well that you'll do with your Laker leaders. And all the events here in the Performing Arts Center are free for students. Some of the more popular ones aren't. The Mercyhurst student government will buy a certain amount of tickets, say 100 for students to use. You just have to come up and get them at the box office. And then after that, they're sold at a discounted price. I don't think they're more than $5. One of my favorite things I've seen here was the Yamato Japanese drummers, which are really cool. I came with a lot of my friends, and it was an awesome experience. So they have a lot of awesome stuff here. Definitely take advantage of that here in the Performing Arts Center. So as we kind of head in here, I'm on the stage, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. It's kind of called the mini Met Athery. This space can hold between 700 and 800 students. So this, you can kind of get an idea of what a typical freshman class size looks like. Every one of these seats will be filled. And that's usually our average class size here at Mercyhurst.
Awesome. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek into our Performing Arts Center. I'm now going to send it back to Rebecca and Maddie.
Hi guys, so this is Ward Hall. This is our co-ed freshman hall, and it's co-ed by wing. So if you can imagine, this side is basically would be guys essentially, and then this side is girls on each floor. But again, like with all the other residence halls, we're gonna go in and check out a room. So this is the common area per floor. Okay, there are a bunch of people. This one, like in all the other ones, there's a ping pong table, TV. One nice thing about Ward is that there is a full kitchen on the first floor. So if you ever want to bake cookies or anything, there is an oven and a stove. This is where I lived when I was a freshman. And on the second floor, there's a media room. So a bigger space where we dips, and we all went and watched the game together there. So it's a nice place to do that. So you do only have key card access to the wing that you live in. So you have access to the building and then to the wing where your room is. Oh, I also forgot to mention, but we passed it. There's also a laundry room per floor, just like in the other ones. So this one's open. So this is one of the rooms in Ward. You do have your own bathroom. So you only share a bathroom with you and your roommate. And then there's closets and storage space. We'll take a look in one of the closets. Again, super big, easy to fit a bunch of stuff. One nice thing is that the sink is outside of the bathroom, so if your roommate's showering or something, you can still get ready in the morning. And then in the rooms, this is set for a triple because a lot of our freshman classes have been fairly large, but you would have to elect to live in a triple. These are meant for just two people and usually live here. So you'll get, again, 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers, 2 chairs, and you can decorate it how you want. Something that's really nice is that, oh my mask, is that the dressers can either stack or unstack to fit under the bed to save some space if that is something that you're interested in.
Maddie, I know one of the other big questions we get in relation to residence life is often if freshmen can have cars on campus, and if not, how do they sort of accommodate that?
Yeah, so freshmen can't have cars. Every year after that, sophomore to senior, you are allowed to have a car. So we have a program with the Erie bus system where you just get a sticker on the back of your ID card and you can ride the bus for free. There's a stop on campus near the Upperclassmen housing and then also right across the street from campus. So it's an easy way to use that and it's totally for free. It's also small enough that even as a freshman, you're probably gonna know a senior, a junior, or a sophomore who will probably have a car if you ever need to use a car. But one other really nice thing is that basically at the corner of campus is a CVS. So if you ever need anything like toilet paper, snacks, makeup, literally anything that CVS has, you can go there. And that's totally within walking distance. It's like maybe 5 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. We're going to head back to Jimmy and Andrea for our last stop on our tour.
Hi, everyone. So before we head into our last spot, which is Audrey Hert Academic Center, I'll kind of point out where we are. So over here to my right, we still have Old Main, which is kind of what we saw before we went into Zern Hall. And then directly behind me right here, we do have Zern Hall. So Zern and Audrey Hert Academic Center are really close to each other. They're pretty much right next to each other. And then Old Main is directly across from both buildings. So before we go in, I'll kind of point out to the back and to the right of Hert, that building back there is our bookstore. So our bookstore has all of our Mercyhurst merch. They also have a Starbucks coffee station in there as well. And then behind the bookstore, we also have our Mercyhurst Student Co and Health Center. So if you were ever sick, you would go there. They have physicians and nurses there. They can prescribe medicine. As Maddie was saying, there's a CVS right here on the corner of campus. It's probably a 3-minute walk from here. So if you were ever sick, you would go there. They also have a counseling center, which is available for students to use as well. Audrey Hert Academic Center is just another building where you'll have some of your classes. A lot of free classes are here. We have our graphic design space on the lower level, some public health, religion. I actually have my physics class in this building this year. So it's kind of a random disbursement of classes in this building. That is see what a classroom looks like and talk a little bit about. So right as we enter into Audrey Hert Academic Center, you can see the Mercyhurst seal down right here. So it says Mercyhurst College. This building was built in 2002. However, we became a university in 2012, so we do have university status today. We have the year that we were founded, where we're located, in our motto Carpe Diem, which is seize the day in Latin. And then behind me here we have the Walker Recital Hall. So this is just another space if the Performing Arts Center was taken and there needed to be a presentation or a speaker or anything like that. That is what this space is used for. Also, a lot of our music students have recitals and concerts and stuff like that in there as well. And then I'll kind of come over here, and if you look all the way up in there, that's actually the inside of the Green Dome. That's an artist's depiction of what an Erie night sky would look like. So I always like to point that out on tours. That big green thing you see outside actually has something else inside of it in here as well. So we're headed to the last part of our tour. We're going to go down into the Honors Lounge. The Honors program is really cool here at Mercyhurst, and you can start as early as a freshman. And we'll go ahead and go in here and see what a class looks like in Hert. So this is what a classroom would look like in Audrey Hert Academic Center. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a 14-to-1 student faculty ratio. So these classrooms are relatively small just because you wouldn't have a class that's super large. Most of your reach classes they won't be more than like 30 or 32 students, which is still super small compared to a lot of other schools that I know have bigger class sizes as well. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the tour. So we'll do a little question and answer session in here and answer you guys may have.
Excellent. Jimmy, as we wait for Maddie and Rebecca to get back, can you tell us a little bit about maybe what your favorite class has been on campus thus far?
Yeah. So I was talking about it earlier, my environmental science problem solving, and also more science classes on a bio major. My ecology and evolutionary class, those both classes, we were able to go to like Asbury Woods, which is really close to Erie. And I really liked going outdoors and into that learning environment. Also, with those classes, your professors are really, they really care about you. They really want you to see you succeed. I have a really good relationship with all of my professors, and they've really been helpful when I've ever struggled with the class and anything like that.
Excellent. Maddie and Rebecca just walked in. If you guys wanted to go ahead and have a seat over here, I know you guys have been walking all around campus today, so I'm happy to go ahead and offer you guys a seat while we answer some questions from the group. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to Dana for this portion of the event.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Maddie and Jimmy. I'll give you guys a second to catch your breath. That is a lot of different buildings that you showed in a record time. So applaud you both and thank you again. I think now is a great time. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, certainly go ahead and either ask it in the chat, and I can ask it on your behalf if you're a little camera shy. I am not, so I'm happy to answer it for you. But also you can ask it audibly if you would like. I will let people get their thoughts and maybe some questions, and I can ask a question or two and then open it up to the floor. So my first question, and maybe both of you can maybe answer this, is what advice would you give to high school seniors as they kind of navigate the college search? Certainly most of the students that are joining us tonight are either probably juniors or seniors in high school. So they're definitely thinking about college sooner than later. So what maybe one piece of advice would you give to a student that is considering Mercyhurst? Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah. So advice for high school students, I would say, is take the time like now to enjoy your senior year or junior year or whatever, because you don't really get those days back. I know you're kind of looking forward to what's next and what's coming and where am I going to go to school, but I guess my piece of advice would just be to like take a breath, be in the moment, and enjoy the times that you have now. And you know, just do the best you can in your schoolwork to strengthen your application. And yeah.
That's actually really good. So another piece of advice when you're looking at colleges is I definitely recommend touring, and in person you get a totally different vibe, and we try to do our best on these virtual tours, but it can be totally different when you actually see the school. And really thinking about like what matters. So like a big thing for me was I was debating whether I wanted to go to a big school or a small school. So I was like, what kind of vibe do I want for my college experience? And every college is college, so there's something to consider in that. But I wanted a place where I could do academics also, so I looked towards a smaller school.
Wonderful. We had a question from Dean regarding COVID. I can probably answer this maybe a little bit, and then you all can maybe give your perspective. Dean's question was, are there certain areas limited in how many people are able to enter due to COVID? We are located in obviously the state of Pennsylvania, so we follow our COVID guidelines based on the Pennsylvania Department of Health. So right now, as of October 11th, we don't have any max number of people required in certain spaces. We are, as I mentioned at the beginning of the tour, requiring our guests, students, faculty, staff, everyone on campus to wear masks inside, but we do not have necessarily restriction on the amount of people. Maddie, Jimmy, do you see any, I mean, I know last year we had some social distancing in classrooms, but we're at full capacity in classrooms right now, correct?
Yeah, last year things were different. There were a bunch of COVID rules, but honestly, life is pretty much normal. It's interesting getting used to going to attend events in person and everything nowadays. But there's not really that many restrictions besides just wearing a mask.
Great.
Yeah, I'd say that's the only restriction, is just as long as you just have to have your mask on indoors. Like Maddie said, it was a lot different last year. We couldn't even have like friends in our rooms. It got really restricted, and the dining halls looked a lot different. We had like half capacity in indoor seating, and we had encouraged like grab and go, so to go eating and stuff like that. But yeah, this year we are completely back to normal, just besides the mask. We're all in class, in-person tests, all that. So it's awesome.
Great. I think maybe the jackets have a couple questions about attire. Are there certain dress up days? Are there days where students have to wear a suit and tie? So I think maybe you guys have set the standard that we wear jackets every day, but maybe you can explain why you're wearing a green jacket.
Yeah, so we're ambassadors. So this is the attire that we wear when we give tours. There is no uniform requirement here. I mean, I know some Catholic schools in high school. I went to a Catholic high school, so we did have to wear a shirt and tie and like khaki pants every day. But no, there is no like dress code here at all. We just wear this to tour just to look our best when we're showing off the place we love.
Yeah, I wear sweatshirt and biker shorts to my 8 a.m.s every day. So there's no worries what you have to wear.
Okay, Jen asks, what's the atmosphere of the school like? So I'm not sure if she's just generally asking, but can you give your perspective on the atmosphere of school?
Yeah, so it's honestly one of the big things we pride ourselves on is our sense of community. So one of the slogans on campus is basically Hurst is home. So it's basically like you're home away from home. Everybody feels really comfortable here. They actually once did a study, and students here and faculty actually are more likely to hold the doors open at Mercyhurst than like at other campuses. I was literally walking into this building earlier this morning, and I was like 10 feet away, and this girl was holding the door open. So it's really nice, and that's just like a little tidbit, but there's a really good sense of community. Everyone's really welcoming. Yeah,
I think she highlighted the door thing, which is what I was going to say. No, the sense of community here is really good. Another thing I'll say is, and I definitely encourage, I'm an RA this year, I encourage my residents to getting involved on campus. We have a campus involvement fair every fall. And getting involved kind of gets you to meet new people and a lot of different people. And, you know, when you're walking around campus and you seeing them, it's a great atmosphere just to like say, hi, hello, because you do run into those people quite often here. So we do have a pretty welcoming community here.
I will say, I can't tell you how many times I've had a family who has done a campus tour before I meet with them. And they always say that. They're like, I can't believe how many students hold the door for us, as we were like nowhere near the building, but coming in and seeing us. And so I agree. It's definitely a very friendly campus. Salvina asked, what is the ratio of boys to girls? I'm not sure if you guys know this. I believe I do, but you're both looking at me like maybe not. I believe it's 45% male to 55% female, if that's the correct math. So we're almost about 50-50. Granted, we did start out as an all-girls school, but we've had quite a few years of being co-ed to even out the even out the ratio. So I do believe it is pretty even these days. Can you talk a little bit? I think you guys mentioned the blue lights, but can you mention a little bit about the safety on campus, as well as maybe just the Erie area that we are, for those that are not familiar with Erie, kind of maybe where we are in the limits of the city?
Yeah, so we do have the blue light system around campus, and those are, you know, for students to use if they ever, you know, don't feel safe on campus, they can hit it, and then police and safety will come and they can escort them to wherever they would like to go. And we are a really safe campus. I think police and safety scouts the perimeter of campus in like every 7 to 11 minutes. We're not a huge school, so it's kind of easy to get to someone if they're needed for help. And then I know they work in conjunction with the Erie Police Department as well, so they kind of work together and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll say even as like a girl walking across campus late at night, I've never really felt uncomfortable. So it's pretty safe. And even we're in a pretty residential area in Erie too. So but even like outside of campus, it's pretty good.
We have one last question in the chat so far. Again, if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. I'll ask them for you. But my last question I have is, how is the diversity on campus? And it's kind of a general question, so not necessarily just, you know, race, but maybe you could talk about the, you know, religious component or our international students, or what your perspective is on the diversity of Mercyhurst.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty diverse campus. I am involved in campus ministry, and you don't have to be like Catholic or anything to be part of campus ministry. There's a ton of different people that are a part of that. Also, this year I'm an RA in Ward, and another RA there. His name is Joel. He's from Jamaica. So that's a really cool thing. I know there's like a couple other ones from Jamaica too as well. But yeah, no, I would say we're a pretty diverse campus.
Yeah, I've met a ton of like international students that I never would have met before, which has been really nice. And I mean, everybody can always improve on everything, but I think we do a really good job at like offering a lot of different things for a lot of different diverse backgrounds.
Great. If you have any last questions, now is the time. But I would ask just both of you the last question. Why did you pick Mercyhurst?
Yeah, so there was a couple things that factored into my decision. Firstly, when I was looking at schools, food was a big thing for me. So when I toured here like 2 or 3 times before I made the decision, and I was able to eat here. And I would say like the food was awesome every time I've been here. So the food is great here. That was one thing. And then the first time I came here, I kind of felt that homey feel. I know that's kind of cheesy to say, but we say Hurst is home, and I really felt that here. And the community as I saw. And I really encourage and hope that some of you guys will be able to see campus in person to kind of get that feel. We try to do our best kind of showing you guys that virtually, but I really felt that, and I really felt like this was my home away from home here. So
I think I only toured Mercyhurst once before I came here, but I wanted to study intelligence studies, which not that many schools offer. So my options were kind of limited in general, but I toured a bunch of schools, and I don't know, when I came here, I was just like, yeah, I think this is the one. Their academics are good, but they also had a lot of opportunities to get involved. And I'm kind of an extrovert, and I like to go do stuff. So that was another really big plus for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you again to Maddie and Jimmy. And we thank you all for coming to tonight's virtual campus tour. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions and you were unable to ask tonight, or would like more information on how to visit campus, we are doing in-person events and tours all the time. So please check out our website or reach out to us directly. We recognize that no 2 college searches are exactly the same, and we want to ensure that you have all the information that you need if you think about joining Mercyhurst community in the fall or in the next couple falls, depending on where you are in your college search. But again, stay well, carpe diem, and thank you again for attending our virtual event. We hope to see you soon. Bye.
bye, guys.
Thank you.